Ciao, buongiorno ragazzi, here again to take you through another one of our decade-long countdowns. Thank you so much if you have joined the voting or participated. We have received great feedback. Links in the description for the previous two polls. Which one are we focusing on now, man?
We're covering Inter's worst player of the decade, and we're looking at it from performance and performance to transfer fee as well. We're weighing everything up there.
We weren't really specific in the metrics that we gave you guys.
Yes, but you know what? There was a large range of votes. I don't think we've had polls where we've received this many votes for before.
No, it was
so
good to see
we did get a lot of input. But being the decade that I was for Inter, I think the list could have just went on and on. For
this particular category, 100%.
Yeah, for this category.
This is the longest list that we had.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? We got worse players. You got to bring into it managers. You got to bring into everything. So before we waste any time, who was your worst player of the decade?
My worst player of the decade in terms of performance and ability from what I saw was Alvaro Pereira or possibly Kuzmanovic in the midfield. Two players that everyone's going to have those players that stand out for you as the worst in the eras. And for me, I never saw Pereira play a good game. He made Dalbert look like a prime Roberto Carlos, man. And honestly, I can't see a game or a minute where Kuzmanovic did anything right. Those two represent the worst of the worst for me. What about you, Bruno?
Mine would have had to have been, it sounds stupid, but Gabigol.
Yeah,
he just didn't fire for Inter. We spent so much, there was so much hype, just did not fire. And I just think it was in an Icardi era where you're expecting so much from your strikers, especially after what we got there. But I'm going to also say Scaletta.
He was horrible.
I don't know what we're going for there. I don't know what.
But he scored a goal in the derby.
So he scored a goal in the derby.
That probably nullifies your position in the list.
Look, there's that too. Surprisingly, one of the best players of the decades is also one of the worst players for most probably his wife, Mauro Icardi. It was just the turmoil he brought the club into over and over again. First with his book, pointing out the Inter Ultras,
100%,
going after them, and then just the whole dramas at the start of the 2019 year where he just wouldn't want to travel. But we did have some dishonourable mentions as well. Belfodil.
There was hype around him when he came. That's why I understand people actually had him up there. But 0 goals and 0 assists, whooped out straight away.
See you later. Dalbert.
Yeah, understandable because he did cost us 22.5 million at the end of the day, and he's flopped now. And
yeah, look, I understand that really well. Vidic, I
had high hopes when he
I
came.
had high hopes as well.
To be honest, probably he would probably pair as one of the two best centre backs of that decade in the Premier League. Yeah. And here he is on our list for worst.
He just could not do anything.
Nah.
He could not do
Language
anything.
barrier as well.
And yeah, he just wouldn't try. I think in the current squad, he would have fit in a bit better with Perisic and Brozovic
100%.
and all of that. But also, Jean Mario.
This is an interesting one because our number one vote on this list was actually a joint vote between two people, and I had to make a decision based on which one I thought was the worst one out of the two because the votes got such a resounding good reception online. But time to go to the top 3.
But do you really rank Jean Mario as one of the worst?
No, I don't. That's what I mean. That's why in the decision I had to make, Jean Mario didn't get in the top 3 because technically he's not a horrible player, and we've seen what he can do at Lokomotiv Moscow. He was signed in a real bad time for Inter, where the entire structure of who was in control and wages and agents was all over the place, and that's why our number 1 is our number 1. But anyway, so number 3.
Kondogbia.
Not the worst player, technically.
He got a lot of votes. I just think
lot of votes.
Hype seems to be killing these players.
45 million for him, that's the problem.
Yeah, but then you look at players that look at Lukaku when he went to Manchester United, the hype around him. And when there's so much hype, there's so much expectation.
Scores 27 goals in his first season and they still call him shit.
They still call him shit. It's funny. And you can't really question that too much. Number 2, Alvaro Pereira.
He just sucked, man. Like any wing back that can make Dalbert look good is really bad. And left, right, good night, just no chance for Alvaro Pereira. He was never fitting in there, and I just remember his ugly face. So, who's the number one?
Number
Pretty
one
predictable
goes
by now.
to Gabigol.
It's Gabigol for a few different factors. So these are the factors that make Gabigol number one. Ridiculous transfer fee, ridiculously low minutes on the pitch to match that transfer fee, one goal, obviously, and then the fact that we have let him basically score double digits in a foreign country 3 years in a row. It's a bad movie. It's a really bad movie from Inter's point of view. Got to solve it within the next 2 weeks in January.
Yeah, I just think the hype around him. They'll counting him as the next Neymar. And when we got him, I didn't really agree with the purchase fee. Yes, we're investing in our youth. We saw what youth can do. Look at Skriniar, look at Icardi, look at everyone. We've always got young players that come through. Look at Coutinho.
Yeah, exactly right.
But
that was the joint number one. So it was a vote that got a lot online, and I took it to a couple of other chats, was the Gabigol and João Mario double transfer signing in that particular Mercato. It was just, they represent everything that was wrong with us going forward and our biggest roadblock into getting to where we are now. But almost solved, Bruno.
Almost solved. We're getting there. And
Getting
trust
there.
in Conte. Trust in Marotta.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the likes. Thank you so much for the recommendations. We'll be back for the rest of the categories soon. Forza Inter.
Ciao.